let me just be very clear on how I feel about this, okay? Your rarity as a type, a Myers-Briggs type, doesn't make you any more special as a person, as a human being. What makes you truly special as a human being is the choices that you make. That's what makes someone truly special. Not about how rare their type is, because any type can make really good, amazing choices that can make this world a better place. And I truly think that every type can do that. So yeah, I believe in that. What's up? What is up, individuals? How are you? If you're new here, please subscribe. Please hang out with us. We're doing something good here. We're gonna make the world a better place, and I'm really sure of that. I'm really confident of that. Today, we're gonna be going over the 5 signs and wonders, you could call it, of. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so cheerful today. So bear with me, all right? Because I feel like I'm just like flying all over the place over here. So, part 1 of a 5-part series: signs, reasons, wonders, experiences that you might be an INFP, and I hope that this can help you differentiate if you are or are not. All right, here we go. Let's get into it. So the first reason and small story is my experiences taking the test. And I took the test 3 times, okay? I took it 1 time in high school, 2 times in college. In high school, I got an ESFP, which is funny because in high school, I was kind of like the funny, weird guy, kind of like the class clown, the popular guy. And until a certain age, then I kind of stopped being popular and went off of my own way. It fit, right? So then in college, I tested as the ENFP, and yeah, that's a lot different than an ESFP. I know it's only 1 letter, but the types are actually so different. And once you really know the functions and how they act, and the cognitive stack, like I talked about last video, you will really like clearly understand this. They're way different. So I kind of knew something was up with that. But when I was taking the test, I had some issues, right? And my experience was, as an INFP, is that I couldn't help but feel the emotions of the people around me. I'm also a highly sensitive person, an HSP, so it's like impossible for me not to do that, to feel the emotions of people around me. That's just how I am. That's how an INFP is, right? They just know. It changed the way that I took the test and I answered some of the questions, because this is where the small story comes in. My family is very high in FE, extroverted feeling, which is like, to sum it up, it's kind of like a sense of unity, right? In ENFP, I think is more of an idealist, I would say, and it has a little bit more individuality, I think, to it. Not that the ESFP doesn't. The professor ended up narrowing us down, right, in the classroom in college. He was like, okay, judgers over there, perceivers over there, freaks over there, losers over there. Yeah, sorry about that. It eventually boiled down to me and this one really short, like nerdy ass kid. he was pretty nerdy. I mean, I'm nerdy too, so I don't blame him. But he was like really shy, and he ended up testing INFP, and INFJ, and I got ENFP. So when we were the last people standing there when we answered this test, I was kind of like, oh, something really is different about me. Like, this is the second time I've answered this, and that was the second time that they separated us in college by our type too. So I was like, okay, something is different. So on the way home that day, I was driving and I had to pull over and stop, and I just looked up at the clouds. And it's funny because in my life I've had this theme of like, look up. Like, that's why I always say keep looking up, because I've had these crazy experiences where people tell me to keep looking up. It's so strange. And so I'm telling it to you. So I looked up at the clouds and had this epiphany, like, oh, it's true then. These thoughts and hunches that I've always had, I am different. I am truly different, and I do truly feel that way. And I can't really describe the feeling I had at that moment, but it was something else. It felt like I knew my purpose in a way, in a weird way. But which brings me to my second point, is that number 2, I've always known that I was different. If you're an INFP, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. Is like, even from a young age, I've always known that what I'm feeling and thinking of is like different. It's not connected with everyone else somehow. I just saw the world in a different way. I saw the world for what it could be and couldn't be, and it was like almost like I was in third person, like watching myself grow up, watching myself go through these experiences, and then I'd make values out of these experiences based on how I felt about them, and also based on other people's opinions as well. And just for a small example, like, in art class how they have you like describe those sketches. They'll say like, okay, what do you see out of this sketch? And I was doing that with my friend Josh, and everyone was like, oh, I see a ball, I see a baseball player. We're in middle school here. So for me, when it came down to me, I was like, I see a man who is smoking a cigar with a low cap, but he's afraid that he'll hurt the environment, so he wants to consider quitting. Like, that's how I described the feeling of this sketch. And everybody laughed at me. Everybody was like, what the heck are you seeing, man? And I was just being honest, I didn't know that I was like that out there. But yeah, I suppose I just saw the world a lot differently. Um, and I knew that I did, which is the crazy part. And I'm sure that most of you other INFPs feel the same way. Number 3 is the INFP INFJ conundrum that I had. And this was during my self-examination process of about 8 to 9 months. I knew that my type was rare and I was struggling to find it, and I was just learning about the cognitive functions. So I, being a dunce, because I think this is stupid, okay, hear me out. I looked at like that rarity chart, and let me just be very clear on how I feel about this, okay? Your rarity as a type, a Myers-Briggs type, doesn't make you any more special as a person, as a human being. What makes you truly special as a human being is the choices that you make. That's what makes someone truly special. Not about how rare their type is, because any type can make really good, amazing choices that can make this world a better place. And I truly think that every type can do that. So yeah, I believe in that. So I took on the persona of INFJ. I learned about INFJs. I studied them. I studied them online, like Eric Thor and Frank James. And I was taking on that persona. I was looking at the functions of the INFJ and how they behave, and I was acting that way myself. And that's such an INFP thing to do, really, because you're always looking for something else. Like, you're always, you lose sight of yourself every day as an INFP. Like, you can be someone completely different every day as an INFP. And to me, I was trying to fit in with the INFJ identity. How I figured it out was that I was watching a Frank James video, and he said that when an INFP has, or a perceiver has an issue or a problem, it's going to be with a person. When an INFJ has one, it's going to be with a thing. I was like, okay, that makes sense. I'm an INFJ because I have problems with things. Well, I didn't. I had problems with people. I mean, not that I had a problem with them myself, but what really hurt me when I did have bad experiences with people in my life was that maybe they didn't like me or accept me for who I was. And that hurt me so bad, I didn't even want to think about that. So I just blocked it out and I was like, okay, I'm an INFJ because I have a problem with things. You get what I'm saying? I was taking the easy way out and not confronting my real issues. Number 4. So number 4 is that I learned, I observed myself, I tested myself rigorously, and I went through the experiences to test myself. And an INFP will, and perceiving types will generally test things. And for an INFP and you INFPs out there, don't be afraid to test yourself. Put yourself out there because that's how you're going to grow from new experiences. And I feel like INFPs really do have the ability to like break themselves down to really, really small steps. Like you can break things down to a feeling and then make a value out of that feeling. But yet, as an INFP, I do have like this moral code where like I have a sense, this weird sense of knowing like what is right and what is wrong in the world. And I think that's just a curse of the INFP, is that we always do see the world objectively, but we see it from multiple sides, and that's why we make great mediators, I guess. Number 5 is the ability and desire to see, know, and discover the truth. Now, an INFP is going to be, if they're not oblivious, which some INFPs are, and I'm not saying that sometimes it isn't good to be oblivious, but an INFP will be like a lie detector. Like they know when anyone is lying. They can tell in like a split second when someone is lying. They may not know the reason why or the truth about that, but they're curious to discover the truth, and they know when the lie is being told. And most of the time, we just don't say anything. But we do protect the truth. An INFP will be like a bastion of truth. And honestly, I think that's really cool. Yeah, the INFP is kind of like the reporter of the world in that sense. They will gather a report from situations and try and find the truth about that report from all sides and then give you the answer. And finally, I just like to tell the world my truth. And other INFPs, tell the world your truth. Tell them, because the world needs to hear that. They need you. They need to hear your truth to make this world a better place. So do it. Here I am doing it. You can do it too. Thank you guys for showing up today. Thank you for listening to me babble on. I know that it might have been kind of boring, but I'm going to keep coming out with these videos because I've got 4 more planned, and I think the other ones are going to be awesome too. So please subscribe, come hang out with me, keep looking up, and I'll see you next time.